It's a bloodletting in Syria. Civilians facing tanks. There is every indication that the dictatorship is moving to crush once and for all the 11-month-old rebellion. This is Homs, a city of 1.7 million people, a little bit more than Philadelphia. It's under siege by tanks and artillery for a fifth day in a row. Scenes like this are playing out in several Syrian cities and towns tonight. Syria matters because of its neighborhood. It borders both Israel and Iraq. The Assad dictatorship, 40 years old, has banned independent reporting, but CBS News correspondent Clarissa Ward got to the battle lines with the rebels.
This is a battle being fought by farmers and workers very close to home. Just outside of the city, fighters moved in on a checkpoint set up by the Syrian army to choke off rebel traffic. The attack began. First one, then many opened fire. The enemy remained hidden from view. "You are surrounded," the rebel leader called out to the Syrian soldiers. "Defect and join us." But there was no surrender, and the battle raged on. Many of the fighters were young and inexperienced, like Fuad Hashan, a 23-year-old mechanic. "Charge, charge," the men continued to shout. "God is great." They lobbed grenades at the enemy, but the bullets kept coming. Moments later, Hashan was hit. Under fire, the commander struggled to lift his limp body. Other men joined to help before beating a hasty retreat.
They tried to reclaim this checkpoint. They haven't been able to do it yet, and now there is a casualty. Someone has been hurt very badly. They're trying to take him to a hospital.
By the time they got him there, Hashan was dead. At the hospital, body after body was hurried up the stairs, the men weeping for their fallen brothers. "The honor of the Arabs is dead," this man said, and cursed President Assad. Crowds chanting, "The dead were carried home," where the women waited, wailing. "We will take revenge on you, Assad. We will kill you," this woman cried. They wept over the bodies and pierced the night air with their grief. 4 people were killed in the fighting today, Scott, and it's important to remember that this is a small city. Everyone living on this street was either a relative of or knew or grew up with one of the men who died. You can hear them now. They're chanting the Quran. They'll be here all night doing that. And I think what we saw today really illustrates that this is a community, indeed, this is a country that is being devastated by this war.
Clarissa, those men that we saw in your story are lightly armed and poorly trained. What are they up against?
It's simply no match, Scott. They're fighting with Kalashnikovs. They have no military training. They are not particularly physically fit. They're up against a pretty sophisticated army that has artillery, that has tanks. And of course, their greatest fear here on the ground is that soon the Syrian army will begin to use its air power as well.
Why are they fighting against those odds?
The men that we've spoken to here say that at this point there is simply no turning back. Too much damage has been done, too much blood has been shed, and they have been living under this repression for 40 years now. They are really saying enough is enough. We want to be able to speak our minds with freedom, and we want to be able to choose our own government. We want a democracy, and we are willing to die to get there.
CBS News correspondent Clarissa Ward reporting independently with the rebels inside Syria. Clarissa, thank you very much.